Some people love it, some people hate it, some people might not even want to see a chiropractor because of it, and that is the cracking sound. When you move your joints and when we adjust your spine, sometimes a loud audible release comes out, and people know that as a crack. And it can scare away some patients because you don't understand what it is. It sounds like breaking a bone or something. And this video is really just to explain it in simple terms because it's actually a very simple process. Historically, interestingly enough, we thought that it was due to gas bubble collapse within the joint, within the fluids of the joint, and that's actually not true. I think we made sense of that maybe because of bubble wrap or something. But it's actually the opposite happens. It's something that a gas bubble forms inside liquid. That process is called tribonucleation. Not the easiest word to remember, but it's what it's called scientifically. So let me actually show you what that means. I don't know if you can get closer with the camera. So here's an example of a joint. Okay? And your joint is just two motions that articulate, that connect together. Usually in your body, it's actually held by a bunch of ligaments around it, and there's fluid inside those ligaments called synovial fluid. So it acts to basically lubricate the joint, and it's kind of like oil. It helps it move without any friction. If we had no synovial fluid and we had to move grinding bone on bone every day, we wouldn't survive as a species. So what the sound actually is that when we take your range of motion into some place called the periphysiological space, it is a little bit outside of the normal limits of your motion. That's how we give you the extra motion. When we take for that 1 millisecond into the periphysiological space, these surfaces separate rapidly. Now what happens when two surfaces separate rapidly underneath in a ball of fluid? They have surface tension. So when they separate, they create some sort of negative vacuum in there in between the two joints, and air comes in to equalize, which makes a gas bubble inside a liquid. So making a gas bubble inside a liquid around your joints is essentially responsible for the sound. They know this because they did a study on actually knuckle cracking to see what actually was responsible for the sound. So it was, the setup was basically pull my finger. They had your fingers underneath an MRI machine, and they kept pulling until the crack was heard, and they observed what happened in your joint. I'll actually have a picture of that up shortly. And when the joint cracked, they found that there was a bubble forming, and it formed and persisted for 20 minutes. So due to the simultaneous nature of the bubble formation and the cracking, they thought that was what was causing the cracking sound. So they actually concluded from that study too that the myth about knuckle cracking and osteoarthritis isn't true. People who crack their knuckles aren't more prone to get osteoarthritis. So I'm sure that leaves you with a question, well, can I just crack my own neck? And my answer is, yeah, you can do anything, but do you want to? That's the question. Because let's say you think cracking your neck in a certain way will relieve your pain, and it might be temporarily a relief for you. But that segment that you're cracking is most likely what's called a hypermobile segment, which a segment that is already moving too much, and it's just stuck in that part. That's why when you crack it feels good. But to keep that segment moving or keep cracking it, keep separating the joint surfaces probably is not best for it. You probably want the joints that are above and below to move, to kind of equalize the motion on that joint segment that you're cracking. So coming to an experienced chiropractor where we're trained to assess which motion needs to be added, which motion needs to be stabilized, is exactly why you should come see me at Care Chiropractic, where we can work on it together. We can produce some of those lovely cracking sounds, and now that you know what they are, maybe you won't be so scared. This is Dr. El Sayed, and I'll hope to see you soon.